Welcome back to our city. For the second half of the show, I'm pleased to be joined by Sister Judy Mertz of Josephines Place. And we're going to talk about the formation of women as leaders. I guess it's a timely subject with a woman running for president.
Sure is. You never know where you go.
I know. So 15 years ago, you walked into my office, sister, and you talked about how you wanted to form Josephines Place. And there's been some changes in Elizabeth, but also your organization has grown. Can you talk a little bit about those things?
Sure. Well, we began we opened our doors on 2003, and we really asked the women what it was that they needed. And so that's how things have evolved out of their needs. And so we were at 638 Elizabeth Avenue for 4 years when we outgrew it. And women named such things as English, computer, Tai Chi, yoga, knitting, crocheting, and sewing. So there's some of the areas that the women are growing in and discovering their own gifts. 4 years later, we moved down to 622. And we really over these years have doubled the footprint of when we started, because from that move, then a few years later, we acquired an additional space that provides us with a full kitchen and a couple of more rooms for activities. Right now, there's a knitting and crocheting going on in one of those rooms, and somebody's teaching English in another room. And only about a year ago, I asked the proprietors that were in the store next to us for an item that one of our sisters wanted, and they told me it wasn't available. And I asked, is it coming in? They said, no, we're moving. So that put a little light in my head, and to find out what the possibilities were of us going in there. So our owner, Tony Congalvis, got all excited because I said, if we take that space, we need to be able to see it. So he opened it up for us, and there we are today. And I was commenting to somebody before that in the last 3 weeks, we've had 20 new women come in inquiring about Josephines Place, and particularly interested in English and computer, which really equals for us then a waiting list for the women. We presently have 35 volunteers. We have 2 new people coming this week, but we have continued to grow because of word of mouth, because of your support, Mayor, because of our ability to be connected with the agencies in the city, as well as libraries. So people are really supportive of Josephines Place. At schools, we really are growing in a wonderful relationship with the education in the city here, as well as other special needs. We have that citywide committee now on special needs. And people are naming needs that if it's not just one person saying that we're able to meet them or really advocate that somebody go to a social agency.
So, sister, you described a place where it's clearly comfortable for women, but it also could be described as a social club. But you do more than that. You empower women. And I was just curious, how, in what ways have you actually empowered the women as opposed to just being some other place for a respite?
I think empower means to really, in my mind, to have women discover their gifts. So we've offered skills. We've offered skills for starting your own business. The activities in the arts and crafts like the knitting, crocheting have really been a venue for women being creative entrepreneurs. We've had women, we have one woman right now who is working for United Airlines, and her short time that she's been there, they have noticed her ability to speak English and her gifts with the computer. So recently she has been raised up in her job description. We have women who have received certificates in home health care, and so they have a job there. We have one young woman who is in transition into the School of Nursing, hopefully for her final year with Trinitas. So it's really a place where women are respected and encouraged. And women will tell you that the first day they came there, they did not speak English. Now they could meet somebody on the street and give directions. They're taking a sense that they can do it. We have women who are teaching other women. When we have workshops, we have to limit them because of budget or grant availability. So one or two of those women who participated in it will then turn around and offer it to the other women. We are, in our strategic plan for this year, we've encouraged that women would become visible and be on committees in the city. So we have two women who particularly attended a meeting where the Union County Family Health and Services, two of those women were present at that. We have two very active women on that Road to New Jersey committee, where one was really written up in the New York Times as she shared her story.
Oh, I read that.
Yes, that's right. That was Olga, who was doing a presentation in English. She told me as she left the English class the other day, Sister Judy, I'm writing my story in English.
That's terrific.
And
so how do you make the next step and move them from empowering them to, as you said, the formation of women as leaders? How do we get to the leadership capacity?
Okay, well, we were fortunate this year to receive a grant from Elizabethtown Gas. And the grant was based on the fact that we were going to have women formed through skill workshops, bringing in people to help them. Like what we did in the past with something was we had a woman who was a coach come in and say, what do you need? And so the women could name that they needed more skills in speaking, they needed more skill in budgeting, they needed more skills in overcoming their timidity. So the workshops will focus on building confidence, skill development, on preparing to be able to speak to an audience, skills on how to introduce themselves, on how to really be comfortable in creating conversations.
What are the two issues? What are the main issues that affect women, especially women who are coming to your place? I mean, what do you see as the main issues that they need?
Well, they need a building up of confidence. Some of our women, I'd say more than some, our women have been in domestic violence situations. So they need to realize they have rights as immigrant women, but in a relationship that they are not as bad as they are sometimes told to be. So they need the ability to find their voice. And that's really important, to speak. They need that voice, they need the English, so that they will tell you this. They want to communicate with their children's teachers. They want to be able to not have an interpretation through the child, because we know how that could be.
Somebody always misses some words.
Right. And so that's a need for them, a skill to be able to speak. They are needing job training, you know, how to write a resume. How to attend a workshop perhaps, or where to go in order to further develop those skills.
So Sister, you also have a couple of events coming up that not only highlight your successes, but encourage more opportunities for donors and other people to come here. Talk to those events that you got coming up.
Okay, we particularly have within the next 6 weeks, we'll be celebrating our fall celebration. That is one of our two main fundraisers. And at that particular dinner, we're honoring Trinitas Regional Medical Center and also Trinitas School of Nursing as our corporate partners, because they have assisted us in developing, enriching women with regard to health. We call it the ABCs of healthy living. And also at that dinner, we will be honoring Bishop Nicholas DiMarzio, who is really a Newark boy, bred and born, but a bishop of the Brooklyn Diocese, and who has been a voice for the immigrant refugee people. So I strongly encourage the people in the city of Elizabeth and Union County in some way to sponsor or attend that dinner, because it is Trinitas Regional Medical Center that provides the healthcare system for our county.
And Sister, tell us a little bit about how viewers could get involved with your organization. How can they help? Besides being a donor, they can volunteer time as well.
They can volunteer time. We would love to. I never say no to a volunteer. after I speak to somebody and I get a sense of where they're coming from and what they are able to do, we have people who come in and volunteer for 1 or 2 events out of the year. We have high school students who are teaching computer after school. We have volunteers from Jersey Cares. We have a work-study student from here at Kane. We need clerical work. We would love to have people who would offer a Saturday to paint. People who would be willing to use a little elbow grease and cleaning chairs and doing walls and dusting. You want to come to Josephines Place. If you come, you get hooked.
You do. I agree with you on that.
Right. He's like, some of the women thinks it's his brother and some of the children think it's her father or their friend because they know the mayor so well. So there is a place for anybody who really wants to learn as well as teach, and not necessarily book teaching, but by your presence, you're saying to people, we care.
So you mentioned children, Sister. Are children welcome in the, I know it's geared towards women, but what do you do with the single woman with children? Are they welcome to the program? Is there something for the kids to do when the mom comes by?
Oh, there is. Just this morning, one of the moms came by with her little 4-year-old fellow who she says every Saturday's looking for Sister Judy. Well, he went right over to the round table, children's corner, took out the Legos and played. Sometimes we have 3, 4, 5 children there. And when we have children, the oldest usually becomes the director. I'll say to you, who wants to be the director? And so the children are learning while they're moms. We never say no to a child. And what we feel, and the mothers are grateful, is that we're helping them with the children in social activity because they may be in an apartment or a little space that they don't meet other children. So it's an opportunity for the children to learn from each other, to be responsible. So, and we love them. This little boy that was here today, I said I knew him before he was born.
So, Sister, tell us where you see Josephine's Place going in the future.
Well, I see us.
Did you ever think you'd get this far in 14 years?
Can you imagine?
I know.
That we've grown, and I don't even want to say we could outgrow the space. I did say to our committee last night, oh, we couldn't have another thing there because every space is occupied. But I see us continuing to listen to the needs of the city of Elizabeth, to look at the changing demographics. We just had one woman from Syria come in and who has been really present since she came. So we see us continuing the vision and the mission of listening to the needs of the people, the city of Elizabeth, and responding or being a resource for them.
Sister, I want to thank you for your commitment to our city and all the work you've done at Josephine's Place. And I wish you well in the gala dinner. Hope to see you that day.
Good, very good. Thank you, Mayor, and for your support.
For Sister Judy Mertz, as well as Dr. Craig Donovan and Sebastian Prado, I'm Chris Bolwage. We'll see you next week on another edition of Our City.
Sometimes you learn by helping others learn.